welcome to my channel. Today, I'm doing a Coopers Stout. Pretty regular, you can find it on any shelf, not dear, probably about $14 at most. I've had this here for a little bit, decided to make a brew out of it, and I thought, I like Stout, love Stout really, but I want to give it a bit of a punch. So I decided, go online, talk to people, see what I can do. Pop a bit of coffee in there. I've got a heap of coffee beans from the local Aldi store. It smells awesome. I can smell it puffing out of here already. It's a beautiful smell. I'm hoping that will translate to the beer that I'm going to make. So yeah, stick around if you want to see what happens. I'm going to do a taste test in my next video for this one, as well as another brew that I did 2 weeks ago. So if you want to see what happens, stick around, see how I do it. G'day guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a Coopers Stout. I hope you like it. Well, you're not going to taste it, but I am. I'm a bit of a coffee person. I really like my coffees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this Coopers Stout. I'm going to do the proper process of getting it ready for brewing. And I'm going to add what is recommended to me on the Facebook group that I've been looking at and talking to. They recommended putting about 10 grams of coffee beans per litre in my brew. So I'll add that in a sock that's going to be boiled because I want it to be sanitised. It smells alright anyway, but I want it to be sanitised perfectly before I put it all in. Pour it into my fermentasaurus, add the yeast, or add the coffee beans and add the yeast, whichever way, it doesn't really matter. And leave that to ferment for 7 days, hopefully. If it takes longer, it takes longer. It's a bit cold here at the moment, so it might take a bit longer. And we'll go from there. All right, here we go. First, I'll fill up my pot. It doesn't matter how much I put in because I'm going to bring it to 20 litres anyway. So I'll just put in maybe 3 or 4 litres, see how we go. Bring that to the boil with my sock in it. That'll give it a good clean. I've given this a good rinse out anyway a few weeks ago. And I have sanitised it, but I want to make sure. Right, popping it on here on the stove. Whack on the flame. Pop the lid on. Actually, I might chuck the sock in there. Pop the old sock in there. That way it gets a bit of a soaking already. This is for my coffee beans. Pop that in, pop the lid on. Let that boil. What time is it now? It's about 5 to 12, midday. Let's see how it goes, okay? So while that's coming to the boil, I'm going to fill up my sink again with the hot water, just from the tap. Just to warm my extract up, just make it more soft to pour in and mix up into my brew. It just make it easier to pour and extract from the can. Okay, so while my water's boiling, while my bag's boiling in the water, it's about 10 past 12 now. I'll give it another 5 minutes and make sure it is actually boiled because it just started boiling now. So you're looking at probably, I should really keep it another 10 to 15 minutes up right now while it's boiling. So what I'm going to do is measure out 200 grams of coffee. So I'm using just a plastic container, put a bit of sanitizer on it just to make sure it doesn't get any contamination into the bit brew. Pop it on my scales, which I'll turn around and show you if you can see. Probably won't be able to see much, but get the scales going. So I'll pop my camera in front of it so you can see what measurements are happening. I've got it at 0 at the moment, it's zeroed out. So basically it's 0 with my little container on top. Grab my coffee, we'll crack open the bag. A pair of scissors, probably shove that bit of sanitizer on that as well, just to make sure. Yeah, it is. Like I said, I'm going to do 20 litres. So in that 20 litres, I'm going to put 200 grams of coffee beans. And these are whole coffee beans. So 200 grams up to 30. So it's a fair bit. Looks like a fair bit of coffee. So 200 grams, give or take. Half gram. Anyway, that smells really nice. So I'll leave that ready for me to put into my steeping bag and we'll go from there. 200 grams of coffee, smells awesome. Yeah, I'll show you what they look like. We just have our little coffee beans going on there, if you can see that. Better man than me. Nice little Beautiful. So these little guys are going into my brew, just like that, not crushed or anything like that. And we'll just wait and see how it goes. What I'm going to do is just put the bag on my sanitised lid here, which I'll just make sure it's sanitised, so that it stays that way. So I'll pop that down, just grab my bag out. Where's the fork gone? Use my fork. Grab my bag out. Now remember, the water's still 100 degrees, or a bit under 100, so it's sanitising my fork as I just dip it in. So that's alright. Just let that drain off a little. Put that on top of the lid just so it stays off anything that will contaminate it. And then the next job is to put the extract in. Actually, I'll put the Coopers Enhancement. I forgot about this one. Brew Enhancer 3. They recommend using this with the Stout. So that's what I'll do. Pop that in there as well. I'll do that one first before I put the extract in. See how much room I've got left. That pot's a 5 litre pot. And I'll put in, I reckon, about 2.5 litres of water. We'll pour that in. Just grab your spoon, I'll be back. So there's my spoon. Doesn't smell like anything really. So I'll pour that in here, just like normal. Mix it around. Get all the lumps out of it, hopefully, before it gets... I'll be quick already. Those lumps out first. Tastes good. Now boiling like this takes a little bit of the other stuff out, like chlorine and things like that. Not that our tap has a lot of chlorine in it at the moment, and the water temperature here in our part of the world is only about 12 degrees in the ground at the moment, so it's fairly cold. So I've got to be careful with my fermentasaurus, because the fermentasaurus can't have anything above 35 degrees Celsius. So I'll leave that sit for a sec, maybe put it on the boil again, and I'll open my can. Here's my can. And the tag come off. I couldn't get it off before, now it's off. So there's my can ready to go. Grab me electric can opener. Whoa, look at that. That is black. Gotta be really careful with that one. Looks like that's boiling. Turn the flame off. I'm going to use this one here. I'm going to actually use it as a pourer. It'll rinse out as I use it to fill up my fermentasaurus. I'll leave that sit for a bit just to let it dissolve a bit more. Look how rich that is. Wow, it's beautiful. Can't wait till the coffee goes in. So, I'll leave that sitting there for now. Put the lid on so nothing gets in it. And I'll start setting up the fermentasaurus. As you know, I have a fermentasaurus, or as you may have gathered. I've already sanitized and cleaned it, so it's all ready to go. So I'm just going to empty out the star sand that I have in it. I'm using the last of the star sand I ever had left to just make sure that I use it up, don't waste it. I'm not a big star sand fan, only because of little bubbles. Drives me nuts. People say don't fear foam. I don't fear the foam because they're a pain in the ass. So empty that out. Alright, that's all clean and sanitised, ready to go. Close the valve, best thing to do. I'll grab my little what do you call this? Airlock. Pop that on top to make sure that it's ready to go. Under the lid here. I'll bring you over here in a minute, show you what I'm doing. This is the catch bowl, which I'll pour out the star sand that's in there now. I don't need it anymore. So what I'm going to do now is fill this up to about 18 litres, and I want 20, so 16 litres. I'll go 15 litres just to be sure. Pour what I have in the pot in there, and then go from there. So hang with me. Alright guys, going to put the coffee in now, so I'll put that in the bag here without spilling it. Or waste not, what not, whatever. This bag, I will just tie a knot in it, just like this. And we'll stuff it in the hole. What do you reckon? And in goes the coffee. Just like that. It's just going to steep there for 7 days now. We'll see how we go with that, eh? Alright. Made a bit of a mess, not much. Spilled a little bit. Got to give it a clean. Check the temperature. Oh, actually, I'm going to need to stir a bit of oxygen into it. Aerate it, as you do. Being a stout, it's probably going to foam up anyway. Probably shouldn't use metal on this.